Am I the asshole for refusing to take in my estranged father after what he did to my mum and us growing up? When I think back to my childhood, I can't help but feel a deep sense of loss and betrayal. I was just 10 years old when my father walked out on us. He didn't just leave, he left in the most hurtful way possible, abandoning my mother, my siblings, and me after cheating on my mum multiple times. Eventually, he moved in with another woman, starting a new life while we were left to pick up the pieces of our shattered family. My mom, a woman of immense strength and resilience, had to take on the role of both parents. She worked 2 jobs just to make ends meet, sacrificing her happiness and well-being to ensure we had a roof over our heads and food on the table. Despite her efforts, we often struggled. There were days when we didn't know if we'd have enough to eat, and the financial stress was overwhelming. My mom did everything she could, but it was never enough to fill the void left by my father. My father made no effort to be a part of our lives for years. He didn't call, visit, or even send a card for birthdays or holidays. It was as if we didn't exist to him. The emotional and psychological impact of his abandonment was profound. I watched as my mum worked herself to the bone, trying to provide for us while also dealing with the heartbreak of being left alone. My siblings and I became each other's support system, forming a tight-knit bond out of necessity. As I grew older, I learned not to expect anything from my father. He had made his choice, and I had to accept it. I focused on my education and building a future for myself. My siblings did the same. Despite the challenges, we managed to thrive. We found strength in each other and our mother's unwavering support. We all graduated, found jobs, and started to build the lives we wanted, free from the shadow of our father's abandonment. Recently, out of the blue, my older brother called me with surprising news. Our father was in a dire situation. He was broke, sick, and living in poor conditions after his second wife left him. He reached out to my brother, asking for help. My brother, who has a family of his own, couldn't take on the responsibility and suggested that I might be able to help since I don't have children. When I said no, my father called me directly for the first time in years. He accused me of being ungrateful and heartless, insisting that he was still my father and deserved compassion. He tried to guilt me by saying he regretted his mistakes and just wanted a chance to make things right. But I couldn't bring myself to forgive him. The wounds he left were too deep. He made his choices years ago, and now he had to live with the consequences. Some family members sided with him, saying it was my duty to help him, because blood is blood. They accused me of holding on to the past and being selfish. But I don't see it that way. I see it as protecting myself from a man who caused me and my family immense pain. My refusal to take in my father isn't about revenge or holding a grudge. It's about self-preservation. My childhood was filled with hardship and emotional neglect because of his actions. He abandoned us when we needed him the most, and now that he needs help, he expects us to forget all the pain he caused. I can't do that. I won't do that. It's not just about the financial burden, although that is a significant factor. Taking in my father would mean opening up old wounds, bringing back painful memories, and potentially disrupting the life I've built. It would mean sacrificing my well-being for a man who never cared about ours. It would mean ignoring the years of struggle my mum went through to raise us alone, without any help from him. I understand that people can change, and that forgiveness is a virtue. But I also believe that forgiveness doesn't mean allowing toxic people back into your life. My father made his choices, and now he has to live with them. He wasn't there for us when we needed him, and now it's too late for him to ask for our help. Forgiveness can be a personal, internal process. I can forgive my father in my heart for my peace of mind, but that doesn't mean I have to welcome him back into my life. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past or the consequences of his actions. It doesn't mean I have to take on the burden of caring for him now that he is suffering. Forgiveness is not a free pass to avoid the repercussions of one's choices. Moving forward, I have worked hard to build a life that is stable and fulfilling. I have surrounded myself with people who love and support me. Allowing my father back into my life would jeopardize the hard-earned peace I have found. It would mean reopening old wounds and inviting chaos back into my world. I am not willing to do that. My mother taught me the importance of self-respect and self-care. She showed me that it is possible to rise above difficult circumstances and build a better future. I owe it to her, to myself, and to my siblings to protect the life we have built together. My father made his choices, and now he must live with them. It is not my responsibility to fix his mistakes or to take care of him now that he is facing the consequences of his actions. So, am I the asshole for refusing to take in my estranged father after everything he did to my mom and us growing up? I don't think so. He made his bed, and now he has to lie in it. It's not my responsibility to fix his mistakes or to take care of him now that he's suffering the consequences of his actions. My loyalty lies with the people who have been there for me, who have supported me, and who truly deserve my compassion and care. My father taught me what not to be, and my mother taught me what it means to be strong and self-reliant. I have chosen to follow my mother's example. I have decided to prioritize my well-being and the well-being of those who have always been there for me. That is not selfish. It is necessary for my survival and happiness.